Hello and welcome to Carp Fever TV. We're on a new fishery, just opened this year. It's called Stables Carp Fishery. It's in East Riding in West Yorkshire near Hull. It's got quite a few unique features on this venue that offer the angler quite easy fishing. There's a bank with bivvies on it. There's a bank without bivvies on it, and there's quite a lot of equipment already provided for you to stop you to actually bringing it with you. So let's go and have a look at the swims now and show you exactly what you get when you come to fish Stables Carp Fishery. Right, we've unloaded the vans now and we've got all the gear ready on the barrows. Having a quick walk round the pegs, see which ones we actually want. So we've come to the very first peg, which is the nearest one to the car park. As you can see, you know, there's a wind blowing straight into us here. It's a little bit chilly as it's been like mid-November. So this is the deeper end of the lake where you would initially imagine the fish to have moved down to this time of year. So what we'll do now, we'll bob into the next swim and have a look at that, see if it looks any more favourable for catching a fish. Right, we've moved into the next swim now. We're in the middle of the lake. Fished this swim a few months ago, earlier on in the year, which I managed to catch a few out of. It dominates the start of the weed bed on Stables. The weed bed predominantly is down this other end, the shallows like, but the way that this wind's blowing, you know, it is quite a chilly wind, so I'm not 100% certain whether I favour this peg or not. It can be a good swim, but with the wind conditions being on the cold side, I'm not too fond of fishing on the wind in the cold, you know, this time of year. So we'll have a look down. I mean, this next one along really got the wind blowing in it, so whether this one and the next one's going to be out of the equation, we'll whiz down and have a look. Okay, we've come into the last swim on the non-bivvy bank now. This wind really is hacking into this corner. In summertime, this would be pretty much absolutely perfect conditions for holding fish down this end. Fished this swim as well a few months ago and absolutely cleaned up in it. The only trouble is it ain't warm anymore, so I think what I'll do is we'll go on the other side, on the back of the wind where the break of it is, and we'll see if that feels a little bit more favourable to catch a few from here. Okay, we've come on to the bank we're known as the tracker bank. It's definitely a much warmer feeling on this side. As soon as you walk over it, it feels, you know, the temperature's a lot higher. The only concern I have out of this swim is that obviously we've still got the shallow end in front of us now, which is predominantly a summer area in my opinion. Maybe the fish are up here, I don't know, but I personally would take a punt and say that a little bit further down the lake towards the deeper side. So this particular swim, I'm not going to rule it out, but it doesn't grab my attention as being the one to be in at this particular time. So we'll have a little wander down to the middle area and see how that goes on and see how it feels when we're down there. Right, we've had a good look round now, Toby. You know, we've checked pretty much all the swims out. What's your gut instinct? I know which one mine is initially.
Yeah, I know you're sort of going by the rule of thumb, aren't you? The colder weather, colder water, so the fish moving down into the deeper areas.
Yeah, so maybe not the actual deepest part of the lake at this moment in time. You know, I still think they'll be moving about, but my gut instinct is that it's 3 foot that end, 10 foot the other. you know, in the middle it's 7-8 foot, and I think
that feels about right to you.
Yeah, we sort of like any change of weather, you know, if it gets a little bit warmer, they might just push through to the shallows, which gives us a chance.
We're getting some sun out, so you know.
Exactly, you know, if they do tend to come from right to left, you know, we can intercept them on the way through. We've still got reasonable depths of water in front of us. You know, you're probably in, I don't know, 6 foot around this sort of area. I'm in 7-8 foot possibly. You know, anything in between there that the fish are moving through, my gut instinct is to intercept them, because we're not 100% certain.
Yeah, well, this is it, because it's such an unknown quantity at the minute. We don't know how these fish are behaving through the winter, because no one's ever fished for a winter.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I think what I'm going to do is, if I stick sort of midway point, probably the peg here.
Yeah, well, this one we're in is Selby in it at the moment.
Yeah, in the Selby peg, and then I can chuck one up the shallows. I can have one up there, do one midway, and then I've got one in the deeper water. So I'm sort of covering all bases. Just gives us, you know, a little bit of experimentation there, rather than hedging all the bets.
I'll tell you something. I fished this peg about 2 weeks ago, and the left-hand rod is the one that I caught off.
Okay.
Yeah. So going off that capture, if I'm on the peg next to you, I can put a rod in that area, you can put a rod in that area. So
we've both got at least one we know on a spot that's been working over the past few weeks.
You know, obviously it's an area that I've caught from recently, so I don't see why. The weather's not changed. In fact, it's probably a tad warmer now than what, you know,
it's definitely warmed up.
-2 when I fished a couple of weeks ago. So and I had a bite at 12:30 at night in -2. So you know, I think it puts us in a good area. We've got 2 days on here, haven't we? So
exactly, yeah. I mean, we've got enough time to experiment and sort of play about, try different bits and pieces. So
okay.
I think that's the plan, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've got a little trick up my sleeve now, so let's go and get the gear, and then I might just let you in on it.
Rightio.
All right. See you in a minute. Okay, we've come to the swims now. This is actually my swim, the swim called the paddock, in the middle of the lake basically, or best part of it. Deeper end that way, shallower end that way. What I've decided to do, because there's a lot of sort of like leaf debris which potentially sank to the lake bed and creating that haze on the bottom, I wanted something that was going to get the fish rooting and also balance my rig just on top of that sort of like matter on the lake bed. There's quite a lot of rudd apparently in here. I've never had any problems with them with a boilie approach, but I've come with a slightly different tactic now, a well-known winter tactic, and that's the maggots, as you can see. Now, it might look a little bit strange this to a conventional maggot rig. I'll explain the components. I've basically got a diffusion leader, 0.75 diffusion leader, to a diffusion lead clip with a 3.5 ounce lead on it, and a coated hook link, which is, I don't know, maybe about 11 inches long, something like that. Quite a long hook link, because whatever that lead sinks into, I want the hook link to sit on the top of. And I've got my traditional blowback style rig, little bit of silicone tubing on the eye, and a little bit of silicone tubing on the shank of the hook for the blowback, a reasonably long air. And what I've actually done with this particular rig is I've got a wafter boilie bait on it that's white, to sort of like mimic some of the colour that's going into the free offerings, and there's 3 plastic maggots on the top of it. Now, what this rig does, it will sit with the hook flat and the bait just off the bottom, just like that. So the hook will go down slowly with the bait, and it'll lay flat on the leaf, and the bait will just sit above it just like that. To that, I'm going to tie a PVA bag with some live maggots in it. And I've also brought some dead maggots, which I've got quite a few buckets of, which are these. Now, I've got a certain colour in this bucket, and I've got white and red ones in the other one. I just want to mix the colours up. I don't know how it'll fish on maggots. This venue, like we've said earlier on, we've got no winter history on it whatsoever. It's only ever been fished from April this year, and we're now in November. So we don't know any of the tactics, any of the hot spots. There's no history on particular swims producing in the winter, particular areas producing in the winter, particular baits even, rigs, anything whatsoever. We're going in blind basically. But maggots, pretty much all fish eat maggots, we're led to believe. So I'm going on with these. The reason I brought so many, probably got maybe 4 or 5 gallon with me, is if the rudd population is so high, I need to be able to feed them off, or at least put enough bait out there. I mean, you might get away with just a little sock of maggots and that's enough for a bite. You might need to put a lot in. I really, you know, I'm in the lap of the gods. What happens on that one, I don't know. So that's the tactic I'm using. What I've done to these maggots is I've put krill powder on them, on my freebies. On these ones and on the red and white ones. I've also krilled the live ones as well. So, you know, I've never used the krill before, I don't really know much about it, but, you know, there's enough documentation in the magazines. You know, the match anglers have had a lot of success with krilled maggots, so I thought, well, why not? If it works for them, it should work for us. So that's my presentation on this particular rod. It's going to be fished on the right hand rod to a spot that I found. I'm all clipped up, ready to go. I've found the spot. It's where I caught from a couple of weeks ago from the next peg or the area. It feels exactly the same when I've dragged the lead through it. So let's show you exactly how I put a line marker on. It's quite a unique way of putting a line marker on without damaging your line. It's easy to put on and it's easy to take off. Don't know of many people that do it this way. I certainly haven't come across anybody. I was shown it by an old boy many years ago, and I've stuck with it ever since. So I'll get the bits out now. I'll show you how to put a line marker on. Okay, little tip now on marking your lines. I've cast my rod to my spot that I'm happy with now. It's hit the clip. I've took the line out of the clip and I want to mark the line now, so should I have a bite off it I can get it exactly to the same spot. So all I've got is some extra large bait bands. Now you can use any size bait band, to be fair, but these bigger ones are better because they just make it easier to do it. But all you basically do with them is take one bait band out, you literally fold it round your line, and with a lip closed baiting needle you thread it through one side, turn it over, catch the rubber band with a lip closed part of it, pull it back through the centre one, and then all you do is pull it tight onto the rod, like so, onto the line even. Now once you've done that, that's your marker on. You literally, if you just pull it tight and clip the remainder of the loop so it creates 2 tag ends, like so, that will put a line marker on. Now what you get with that is it doesn't move very easily on the line. So, you know, it will move, but it doesn't move under sort of like casting or reeling in pressure or anything like that. They're very visual, so you know you can see them dead easy, you know, when you try to peel them off to find where they are, to put them into the position you want them in. And the beauty of these and all is dead easy to get off. You literally, once you've finished fishing, you just get them, you just pull them tight and they will literally snap off in half. That's it, off the line without damaging anything on your actual line. Like, you know, the braided markers that you can use braid, once they're tied onto your rod, very difficult to get back off. Using tape, if it gets wet underneath it, it slides up and down the line. So these are a great little tip, one that I've been using for many years now. And you know, once you have a go with these bait bands as markers, I think you pretty much use them forevermore. I just had an absolute screaming take on the middle rod here. This was one of the solid PVA bags that I've been fishing with a snowman rig on it, with just some pellet and 10 millis in it. And right down the side here. I can't make my mind up yet if it was a good one or not. It felt quite a good one when I picked the rod up. Oh. But it might be one of the smaller ones because they do fight quite hard in here. So oh, it's one of the little stocky commons. Like I say, this was fished on a solid bag. What I've basically done is I've moved this rod today. It's going underneath. What I've done is I've moved this rod today. I put it in the far corner. I noticed it was an area that wasn't getting any wind, and I thought it might have just pushed some of the fish there because the sun's been shining on it all day long. So I thought I'd just chance my arm because it's only a solid bag, it's good enough for a bite, and luckily it's paid off. And it's managed to get a take off it. You don't half go these small stockies in here. We've seen a fish show earlier on just down to the left here, so I've moved my left hand rod off the spot I had a fish from actually last night. I moved it onto where I've seen a fish show before. As yet nothing's happened off that one. Looking just about ready now, this fella. Beautiful. Right, I've just landed him. Just get my rod sorted out. Oh, a bit of a mess there. Right, there we go. Okay, let's get him on the mat and show you this fella now. Okay, there he is. One of Stable's stocky commons. I think there's about 40 of these have been put in. They're growing at a rapid rate, as you can see. They're right chunky little things, and they don't half go and all. You know when you've hooked one of these. I thought it was a bigger fish actually than what it is, but that's the beauty of this venue. You never really know what you're going to hook. So this is what you likely to catch in the stockfish side of it. You've got some mirrors and all. There's about 40 mirrors put in, I think, that are doing about this sort of size at the moment. But some of these fish was only stocked at £5–6 pound. This one's about, I don't know, £11 maybe, something like that. It certainly feels quite a heavy fish, maybe even weighs a bit more than that. So they're really piling the weight on. Another 2–3 years this fella's going to be £20, and probably all the rest of them are and all, because every single one of them are as chunky as this. So as you can see, they're like little discs. Beautiful looking fish. You know, going to be a real pleasure to catch these when they're a bit bigger. Absolutely gorgeous. There's the other side of him. So let's slip him back now. Okay, this is the setup that I've just had that little comment on now. It basically, again, my trusted diffusion leader. That's a solid bag that I've put over into the far corner. In the bag, what we've got is, rig wise, is my traditional snowman rig, which is a Fangex size 7, an ash one, Manchester Special 12mm bottom bait, and a 10mm pop-up fish snowman style, so it'll just sit flat like so, and that'll just pop up over the top of it. Just fish on a soft braided uplink. It's not coated, that one, again with my silicone as I described earlier. Within that bag we've basically got some carp pellets, just your standard everyday carp pellets, low oil, 2.3s and 4mm, just them two sizes, that's it. I've prepared them. I've just put some of the Nash Manchester Special boilie glug and the food glug over it, mixed it all together, let it soak in for about a week. I've done this bucket for, and that's basically my bag mix in terms of pellet. And then we've just basically added a few scatterings of the 10mm in it, because I've got a 12mm on the rig. I mean, obviously you can't buy these, I've rolled these myself, and little 10mm just complement it in amongst the mix. So as you can see there, you know, you see the little 10mm in the bag in the pellet. In addition to that, I've just got some of my stick mix in the bottom of it. That's just basically to protect the hook point from impaling on maybe a softened down pellet or one of the 10mm inside it. So my hook bait is actually sat in this little pile of ground bait at the bottom of the mix here now. So that's basically all I've been putting in. I've had 2 bites on that method up to now. Not had anything on the maggots as yet, but you know, we'll see how that one goes. But that's the winning tactic at this moment in time. Right, I'm going to stick this bag back on the spot where we had a bite from last night. It's quite tight into the bank, this one, so we'll see how we'll go with it. Right, there we go, bang on the money. Right, there we go. Okay, we've just had a take on the left hand rod, just on the PVA bag. Absolutely flew away. Doesn't feel that big, to be fair. Not one of the stockies. Just drop the net in. It's come from one of the more unfancied spots, that one. Let's try and make a beeline for them rushes. And a little mirror. Scrappy little fella. There we go, in the bag. Okay, so here he is, the little fella we've just had. We packed all the camera gear away for the night because we wasn't really expecting anything to happen fish wise till later on. It's normally been early hours of the morning when we start getting bites on here this time of year. But this one's just been cast on a 12mm Manchester Special Snowman with a 12mm pop-up on it, white pop-up. It's been fished in a solid bag with some Manchester Special 10mm. It's just been cast down to the the left-hand side. My swim left-hand rod just absolutely flew away, resulting in this little stocky mirror.